You probably think that what destroys a marriage are the massive storms, like a devastating affair or a severe financial crisis. But I'm going to tell you a truth that few have the courage to say. Most of the time, it's the silent termites that bring the roof down on your heads. It's those mistakes that seem harmless in the day-to-day reality of living together, but that drop by drop erode the foundation of love without anyone noticing until it's too late. You know that little annoyance with the way he chews or her habit of leaving the lights on? You think this is normal, that it's just part of it. But the real mistake isn't the habit itself, it's the lack of perspective with which you deal with it. You are allowing tiny things to turn into monsters that devour mutual respect. You are accumulating resentment, thinking you are just tolerating it, when in fact you are drifting apart. In this video, I'm going to expose what these 4 fatal mistakes are that you make when trying to change each other, which are silently sabotaging the relationship. More than that, I'll hand you the antidote, a practical strategy to transform criticism into powerful praise and establish an agreement that brings peace back into your home. If you want to stop watching your relationship bleed out from 1,000 paper cuts, pay close attention because the turning point starts now. You know exactly what that magical phase right after saying "I do" is like, right? Everything looks like a movie scene, but then the dust settles and the reality of living together starts to show its claws. Suddenly, the penny drops and you realize that the wonderful human being sleeping next to you isn't made solely of angelic qualities. It's like opening a beautiful gift only to discover it didn't come with batteries, requiring an effort you weren't expecting. Just look at him, for example. That charming guy now snores like a broken tractor all night long. And there's more, you know. He thinks it's perfectly normal to clip his toenails in the living room right during the soap opera or the game, leaving the evidence on the coffee table. Not to mention his idea of a romantic night, which often sums up to a quick snack at the corner burger joint. And she's not far behind in this story either. You know that toothpaste? Well, she squeezes it right in the middle of the tube, leaving that mess he swears is on purpose just to test his love. And in the kitchen, her menu seems stuck on the hot dogs with sauce key, repeating it every week for dinner. Oh, and she sings every song on the radio with the wrong lyrics, but with the conviction of a professional singer. These little things seem silly at first, but they start piling up under your emotional rug. You look at each other and think, what have I gotten myself into? It's at this moment we see that respect ends up being tested precisely when the wet towel is left on the bed for the 1,000th time. Routine reveals these details that no one mentions in the wedding vows. Before you freak out, take a deep breath. A golden tip is to grab a little notebook, like those Moleskines or even the Notes app on your phone, and write what really bothers you. But hold on, don't throw it in each other's faces yet. It's just to get it out of your head. Visualizing the problem on paper helps you see if it's drama or fact, preparing the ground for a future agreement. Understand that discovering these quirks isn't the end of the world, okay? It's just the beginning of real life together. Every couple goes through this. The secret isn't trying to change the other by force, by shouting and without any praise to soften the mood, because that never works. You need to understand that these irritations are part of the full package you chose to bring home. Now, the big insight is knowing how to measure the real weight of these things on the scale of life. Is the way he squeezes the toothpaste really worth a world war inside your home? This is where the magic of perspective comes in. You need a sharp mental tool to separate the wheat from the chaff, or else you'll live stressed over nonsense. And I'm going to show you exactly how to adjust this lens right now. The big secret to not letting the boat sink because of a raised toilet seat is keeping the correct perspective. Often, you put a magnifying glass on problems the size of an ant, turning them into gigantic monsters. You need to take a step back and look at the whole picture. Otherwise, the routine becomes an unnecessary battlefield. Remember that daily stress distorts your view of reality. Ask yourselves, does this really threaten our life or the integrity of our relationship? Most of the time, the answer is a resounding no. The fact that he leaves socks on the floor or she takes too long in the shower is just noise on the frequency of love, not the end of the broadcast. You need to differentiate what is merely annoying from what is truly toxic or dangerous to the couple's health. Do you want a practical tool? Use the 10 years rule. When the anger rises because he forgot to take out the trash, stop and think, will this matter 10 years from now? If the answer is no, drop that weight right now. Reading something like The 5 Rules of Life or practicing basic stoicism helps a lot to calibrate this judgment and keep respect intact during moments of peak stress. If it's possible to find a practical solution for these irritations, wonderful, make an agreement and solve it. But if there's no way around it, like the way he chews or her loud laugh, it is fully possible to live with. Healthy living together requires a massive dose of acceptance of others' imperfections. You didn't marry a robot programmed to satisfy all your whims. The real danger lies in letting these small things accumulate until they explode. A little stored irritation turns into resentment, and resentment is poison. You need to empty this cup before it overflows. Don't allow a silly detail to overshadow all the qualities that made you fall in love back in the beginning. Excessive focus on the flaw blinds us to the sincere praise the other deserves. Think of this as an emotional investment. Spending energy fighting over nonsense is throwing money away. Saving that energy for good moments is profit. When you change your perspective, the snoring becomes just a noise and not a personal offense. It's a mental switch flip that brings a peace you can't even imagine existed inside the same house. However, I know there are things that really bother us and need to change, otherwise we lose it. We can't be Zen Buddhists all the time, right? But to ask for this change without starting World War III, there is a specific tactic, almost infallible, that involves knowing exactly what to say before dropping the bomb. You need to prepare the ground in a very smart way. Now that we've adjusted our gaze, let's move to practical action. You can't just come kicking the door down and demanding changes, as that generates immediate defense. There is a master plan to ask the other to change a behavior without creating a heavy atmosphere in your living together. Think of it as high-level diplomatic negotiation, where delicacy is your greatest weapon and emotional intelligence dictates the rules of the game. The golden technique here is what we call the emotional buffer. Before dropping the request bomb, you must list 3 things you genuinely admire in your partner. Sincere praise works like anesthesia. It prepares the other's heart to hear something that could be uncomfortable. When you validate the qualities first, the constructive criticism that follows goes down much smoother and is received with less resistance. Shall we go to a practical daily example? Imagine the scene of the sink dirty with hair. Instead of screaming, "Disgusting, clean that up," try, "Honey, I love how you take care of yourself and smell so good, but could you rinse the sink when you're done?" Do you notice the difference in the tone of love? You affirmed the person's value before correcting the habit, disarming any will to fight and focusing on the solution. This strategy changes the game because it satisfies the basic human need for recognition. Classic books like How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie teach that no one likes to be criticized, but everyone loves to be appreciated. By using this tactic, you show respect for the person they are, separating the individual from the annoying behavior. It's pure psychology applied to your breakfast. To apply this today, do a simple exercise. Before sleeping, think of 3 attitudes the other did that made your life easier. It could be making coffee or paying a bill. Training the brain to seek the positive changes the perspective that the other only makes mistakes. When it's time to ask for change, you will already be with a full emotional tank to cushion the impact of the request. Remember that the ratio is important, 3 validations for 1 request. If you reverse this and make 3 criticisms for 1 compliment, the math doesn't add up. It's like trying to withdraw money from an empty bank account. The check will bounce and a fight is certain. Keeping the balance positive is essential for any future agreement to be well received and fulfilled with goodwill by both parties. But attention couples, don't get too carried away with this powerful new tool. It's no use knowing how to ask with affection if you start asking for things all the time, every day, every hour. There is a speed limit on this road. If you bombard your partner with requests, even polite ones, things go south. You need to know the exact frequency so you don't become the nags of the relationship. And there is a clear rule for that. You need to understand that no one changes overnight, not even with the best of intentions. If you dump a list of demands all at once, even with all the love in the world, the other will feel suffocated and incapable. The golden guidance here is the Fortnight Rule. Never make more than one request for change every 2 weeks. This gives time for the brain to process, the habit to settle, and the dust to settle, avoiding that annoying feeling that you are trying to reprogram your partner. How about turning this into a healthy game of living together instead of a battle? You can establish an agreement where each has the right to present only one request per week or fortnight. Imagine sitting down on Sunday night in a light atmosphere and saying, "This week, my request is about the wet towel." This creates a safe and predictable space. No one is caught off guard in the middle of work stress, and communication flows without those defensive barriers that destroy dialogue. The non-negotiable basis of all this is not the change itself, but the deep respect that must sustain your relationship. As that old advice from Apostle Peter suggests, treating each other with honor is what lubricates the rusty gears of marriage. When he feels respected in his limitations and she feels heard in her needs, magic happens. Without this solid base, any communication technique becomes just cheap manipulation and won't last until next Monday. To make this work in practice, create the habit of a monthly maintenance meeting. Grab a shared calendar on Google or a planner on the kitchen wall and mark the day to check progress without pressure. Do this at a dinner out or by ordering a pizza, associating the moment with something pleasurable. This takes the weight off the annoying nagging and puts the focus on the continuous improvement of the positive perspective you build about each other, celebrating small victories. Never underestimate the power of the magic words we learned in kindergarten: please and thank you. Being polite and kind when the other complies with the request is the best fuel for permanent change. When you notice his effort not to clip his nails in the living room and drop a genuine praise, you reinforce the positive behavior. It is positive reinforcement that trains the mind to repeat the success, much more than bitter criticism punishes the error. When the environment is safe, changes happen almost by osmosis, without titanic effort. You'll notice that by being more loving and less critical, the other will naturally want to please more, in a kind of virtuous cycle. It's a two-way street. The more respect you plant in the day-to-day, the more cooperation you harvest. The tension decreases, the laughter returns, and that list of annoying defects starts to shrink on its own. Now you have the complete map in hand. Adjust your days, prepare the ground with affection, and respect each other's time. Applying this requires patience, but the result is a home where it's a pleasure to return to at the end of the day. And believe me, when you master this art, it's not just the relationship that improves, but your entire life unlocks in an impressive way. Now, the question is knowing how to take the first step without tripping on old habits. Now, my friends, I invite you to look at all this with great affection. I know that changing old habits in living together is not an easy task, but just by adjusting your perspective, you have already taken a big step. The true magic happens in the small gestures of love in everyday life. How about proposing a new gentle agreement between you, experimenting with that praise technique? Do it without pressure, and tell me here in the comments, if you feel comfortable, what small attitude do you feel you can adjust to bring more peace to the heart of the one you love? Taking care of the relationship is in fact the most beautiful way to take care of yourself. Did you know that the respect and support you cultivate at home have the real power to heal you? There is a deep and scientific connection between life as a couple and your physical and emotional health. I left a very special video right here on the screen where I talk about how marriage can be a source of vitality, or if we don't take care, end up making us sick. Click on it to understand how to transform your home into a genuine source of healing. And if you feel this space does you good, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. It will be an honor to have you here walking side by side with me, building the happiness you deserve. A big hug and see you soon.